Hello, welcome to the very first episode of Jur Earn MJ. This podcast is mostly in English, but I also use some Korean words and expressions from time to time, so please enjoy both. Since English isn't my first language, I might occasionally make small mistakes in grammar or pronunciation. But I always do my best to keep things clear and helpful. Thanks for your understanding. I'm Rona MJ, coming to you from Korea. I have a Korean teaching certificate and I started this podcast to share fun and interesting stories about Korea. Things like pop culture, daily life, and what it's really like living here. This podcast is for anyone who's learning Korean, curious about Korean culture, or just enjoys hearing stories from the other side of the world. It's not super study heavy. Think of it more like a podcast you listen to while sipping your coffee or commuting to work. Super chill, casual, and hopefully fun. Let me tell you why I started this podcast. Well, until recently, I was mainly creating short videos teaching useful Korean expressions. Then I thought, what if I teach Korean with stories about Korean culture? Language becomes way easier and way more interesting when you understand the culture behind it. I also want more people to know how Korea is different from Japan or China. They are all in Asia, but the cultures are very, very different. And Korea has its own charm. There's so much about daily life in Korea that I think people would love to hear about. That's why I made this podcast. I teach Korean, share my daily life, and talk about culture. Sounds fun, right? Okay, let's get into today's topic. Korean greetings. You know how every language has its own way of saying hello, like hola, ciao, bonjour, ni hao, konnichiwa. Even if you don't speak Korean, chances are you've heard this one, 안녕하세요. It's the most common greeting in Korean. It's like hello or hi in English. But let's dig a little deeper. What does 안녕 actually mean? The word 안녕 originally means something like peace or being safe and calm. That's why sometimes we say 안녕하세요 with a question mark and sometimes 안녕하세요 with an exclamation mark. That's because it used to be a question, are you peaceful? Or are you doing okay? If you answer seriously like 아니요, 안녕 못해요, no, I'm not peaceful, it would sound strange. These days, no one really thinks about it that way. It's just a polite way to say hello. Now, here's something fun. You don't say 안녕하세요 to your close friends. That would actually sound super awkward. If you did, your friend might say, why are you being so formal all of a sudden? With friends, we just say 안녕. Or depending on the situation, something like 왔어? Oh, you're here. 야, 오랜만이다. Hey, long time no see. 잘 지냈어? How have you been? These are way more casual and friendly. So next time you see your Korean friend, try saying 왔어? I bet they'll be super impressed. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff I want to share with you here. Each episode, I'll talk about something from Korean life or language, and we'll pick up some useful expressions along the way. If you ever have a question or a topic you're curious about, feel free to leave a comment. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much for tuning into this very first episode of Jur Earn MJ. There's a lot more to come, and I hope you'll join me again next time. Until then, stay curious, stay peaceful. And see you soon. Bye bye. True or name J.